Happy Tuesday! I hope your day is off to an awesome start. That your Monday was wonderful and all that good jazz. So let's go ahead. Let's do our thing. Let's first I think we should probably just step into the goddess realm. Welcome. I'm Sharita Bagby with I Am Goddess Life, and today we are going to start off with the social. You know what to do. Grab a glass of water, chug a lug, boop, hit like when you're done. Good morning, Nicole. Happy Tuesday. Thanks for joining today. Y'all, I am pumped up. I'm super excited. I'm charged. I made it to the beach yesterday, and any day I make it to the beach, sorry, I've got to get organized. Any day I make it to the beach is just an awesome, amazing day. I got a lot of clarity, some understanding. I talked a little bit about that on my page this morning, so yeah, if you're curious, go check it out. It's public. All right. Thank you, God. Thank you to our angels. Thank you to our guides for all the amazing direction you've been giving us, helping us to illuminate that which is in the shadows and bringing it to the light and being able to heal and integrate into our total selves. We ask that you continue to guide and direct our messages, make them clear and concise so everyone knows how to apply it to their own individual lives. We also ask that anyone who hears this message be blessed by it abundantly. And all these many wonderful things we ask in unconditional love. Amen. All right, let's dive in. What do we want? What do we need to know today, I guess, really? Not only what do we want, but what do we need to know today, God? Where's our message coming from? I'm looking around here. I think we're going to do it. We are going to play with one of our new decks, with our Earth Magic deck. Only because that's what I just heard. So that's what we're going to do. I really am feeling this deck. It is super warm, super fuzzy. It's super supportive, but I will also say, what are the words that come to mind? Warm, fuzzy, fun, supportive, firm, direct, clear, all the things that I like in, my readings. Make it clear, make it direct. I don't want to have to guess. Help me to understand. I want to feel loved and supported, even if I'm being corrected. You know what I'm saying? All right, so let's dive in. Thank you to our Earth deck, our Earth Magic deck. Holy cow, hold on. What is it that we need today? And these are some slippery little cards. What is it that we need to know today? And we're going to get 3 cards. We're going to cut the deck. Okay. I think we're going to get... Oh, okay. Guess we're not. There are 3 cards right there. This one goes... Which one goes? This one's on top. Got it. All right. Let's see where we go. Let's do this. Hold on. Sorry, I updated my software, so like nothing's where I'm used to it being. Oh, this is just pretty. Waterfall, Effortless. So let me see if I can bring it in just a little bit closer so you can check out this beautiful card. Waterfall, Effortless. What do you think? All right. Water naturally flows from higher to lower ground, eventually finding its way to the ocean. One of nature's most exquisite and dynamic demonstrations of this fact is the waterfall. Graceful, powerful, and effortless, she can take our breath away with her cascading beauty. She readily flows around that which may otherwise impede. She's extremely patient, persistent, and skillful in the way she ever in the way she ever so gradually shapes and carves her passageways down the slope of the mountain. Note how the waterfall forms ribbons that accord with the artistry of the stone faces she descends, joining the calmer pool for a rest before she continues her journey. There is no strain or stress in this movement. The water simply flows natural law in the interaction between the formations of the precipice that she traverses and the powerful fluidity and adaptability of her flow. Effortless. Nicole says, of course, that's the first card. Just about to pack the kids up and go hiking at a nearby state park with waterfalls. Oh, snap, girl. Well, tune in. Now, this card indicates you have come to the edge of your comfort zone and find yourself fighting to resist moving past the perceived precipice of who you are, how you can be, or what you can do. Spirit is asking you to step beyond the edge and allow yourself to do so with ease rather than struggle. Yes, at times physical exertion is necessary, but when performed with fluidity and grace, even when the task seems daunting, you'll find that the movement moves you effortlessly. Approach the present situation or relationship with awareness and grace. Do not try to make it effortless. That just creates more strain. The key word here is to allow. This is not a time to fight, but to surrender to the will of spirit, even if you're being asked to let go completely and tumble to the brink of creation itself. You will find the waters there to be ultimately still and calm. Keep your focus on your solar plexus and your breath. Wow. Breathing through any tension. Relaxing and yielding to the movement that is occurring at any given moment makes your life effortless. Holy smokes. Wow. Okay. That's just, yep. Wow. I love that. In particular, keep your focus on your solar plexus and your breath, breathing through any tension. Relax and yielding to the movement that is occurring at any given moment makes your life effortless. The key word here is to allow. Absolutely beautiful. Now, this is interesting. Now that we're allowing things, we get the meadow. Vulnerability. What is our meadow telling us? Vulnerability. The meadow in this card invites us in with its beauty and openness. The flowers have arranged themselves in a poetic design orchestrated by nature, and the lush rolling fields urge us to relax and stay for a while. Yet for some, the idea of being in such an open space is terrifying. And in an expansive meadow like this, we may feel exposed and defenseless, lacking the perceived safety of an enclosed area. For others, walking through a meadow can be an exquisitely satisfying experience. We can feel comfortable in the openness and visibility, enjoying the 360-degree view with nothing but the sky above. Yes, we may still feel vulnerable, but with a twist. This is a vulnerability built on the foundation of trust rather than fear. The capacity to trust our own instincts to tell us if there are any potential threats we must respond to. By relying on this instinctual knowing, we can relax and enjoy the beauty that surrounds us. Wow, what really, before we go any further, by relying on this instinctual knowing, we can relax and enjoy, we can relax and allow, really, the effortlessness to ensue. Okay, I just wanted to throw that in there real fast. You are in a place now where you can take risks with your feelings, and even more important, take risks with the truth of who you are. The truth you know in your heart and soul. You no longer need to be subjected to your conditioned fears of letting others know who you really are. Yes, others may judge, evaluate, criticize, and perhaps even put you down. These are very real possibilities. Yet, by trusting that you have the strength to deal with these reactions rather than respond adaptively and always playing it safe, you can more confidently allow yourself to be vulnerable. Always holding back from expressing your truth can create an illusion of safety, but armed with your trust and your faith, you can choose to be vulnerable and share your authentic self with the world. Wow, just wow. How beautiful is that? That is just amazing. You no longer need to be subjected to your conditioned fears of letting others know who you really are. And that's what they are oftentimes. Most of our fears in most aspects of life, not just our truth, walking our truth, but just they're conditioned fears. We're accustomed to feeling a certain way. Kind of, I'm thinking about that fairy card about debt, where it specifically says the habit of debt, the condition of debt, the condition of fear. We can begin to let that go. We can, because again, the only difference now is now we're trusting from a place of, or we're vulnerable from a place of excuse me, we are vulnerable from a place of trust, not from a place of fear. Mm-mm-mm. Oopsies. Dawn. New beginnings. Beautiful card. And I always like the sound of new beginnings. All right, let's get some clarity here. New beginnings. The start of a new day with it the start of a new day brings with it reassurance that night has passed, making a way for new opportunities no matter what has come before. It reminds us of the predictability of the daily cycles. That first light forecasts the sun's appearance, awakens the winged ones, who sing and chirp happily at the advent of another morning. It's a time of fresh beginnings from which we can create whatever kind of experience we desire. In this image, we see the rays of the sun stretching into the valley while the sun itself peeks around the corner, as if it had set its course to proceed around the bend in the river, which appears relatively still from its rest during the night. This scene exemplifies renewal and new beginnings. When you witness the initial stages of dawn without the benefit of a clock or other timepiece, for a while you may not be able to discern whether the sky is really lightening. The stars remain visible and the shadows of the night still shape the landscape. It is that way with any beginning. It is difficult to tell where the old ends and the new begins. Gradually, however, it becomes clear to your senses that the light is definitely increasing. And as you continue to observe, the world slowly wakes up, accompanied by all the sounds, smells, and freshness associated with it. Soon the first glimmer of sun shows. A new day has begun. This is a time to say farewell to the old and honor the new by releasing any self-imposed constraints or resistance to the truth that you know. This is your chance to develop that project you've been thinking about. Embark on that adventure that you have dreamed of going on and take risks in initiating what your intuitive self has been telling you to do. As this prospect becomes increasingly visible and real, doubts and uncertainties may arise. But rest assured, just as dawn inevitably turns into day, by heeding your inner guidance, you will succeed. How freaking awesome is this? Look at this whole message that we've received today. The whole message, really in particular, is about surrendering to self, right? Surrendering to the effortless flow that life has to offer. Like the water, it's effortless in its persistence, but yet it continually shapes the rocks and nature around it into what it chooses it to be. It operates out of trust in the meadow, allowing itself to be vulnerable, letting go of those conditioned fears, those perceived fears through condition. Some of that condition, guys, we have to recognize that it was through our own fear and perception that sometimes we actually got made fun of. We might have got teased. We might have gotten called out. But more often than not, those things happened in our heads. and we allowed ourselves to feel them in our physical world, even though they may or may not have happened. And then finally, dawn, new beginning. Nicole says, beautiful message. I agree. beautiful beginnings as the sun begins to creep around. Allow ourselves to feel the newness. This is a time to say farewell to the old and to honor the new by releasing any self-imposed constraints or resistance to the truth that you know, that you already know, your divinely led, your divinely guided intuition. Aren't these just warm and fuzzy? Do you not get what I mean when I'm like warm, fuzzy, but direct, clear, concise, very applicable? This is your chance to develop that prospect that you've been thinking about. Embark on that adventure. You know, this is really a time to allow yourself to dare to freaking dream. I love it. I want to come back to, give me a hot second here. Is there any other message that you have for us? I feel like we're going to talk to our fairies, because fairies are so, you know, I don't want to call them earthbound creatures, but they are so, you know, kind of keepers of the earth, so to speak. I just feel like they really flow with these. And waterfall, again, remembering you have come to the edge of your comfort zone and find yourself fighting to resist moving past the perceived precipice of who you are, how you can be, or what you can do. Spirit is asking you to step beyond the edge and allow yourself to do so with ease rather than struggle. Wow. That just, wow. And that's kind of the new beginning. Allowing yourself to move past the edge, to surrender yourself, to allow yourself to be vulnerable, but out of trust, not out of fear. And what does it bring about? This new dawn, this new beginning. A lot of us, I think, this is really interesting, because this really speaks to some of the messages that I got yesterday when I was at the beach. But a lot of us are experiencing all types of shifts. And really in these shifts, we're like, I know that I'm moving to a new place. I know that I'm trying to do new things, but like, I'm still seeing and feeling the same old, same old. And really, you're being guided and directed to surrender. If you get a chance to read my post from today, it was about surrendering to the why and not the how. So many of us have been focused. We've been trying to control the how out of fear and lack. That even though this new dawn, this new beginning is upon us, we're having a hard time stepping into it. But really, we're being guided to surrender to the how. Yes, action may need to take forward, but we need to remember our why. To flow, let it flow effortlessly, to allow ourselves to be vulnerable out of trust, knowing that we are moving in the right direction, knowing that we are being divinely led and divinely guided, knowing that as we let our light shine, as we become the lighthouse, that we not only attract those to us whom we are meant to help, but also those whom are meant to help us. This is the opportunity. We're moving into the time of really stepping in to who we are, mind, body, and spirit. Effortless, vulnerability, new beginnings. Allow yourself to just be. Okay, let's talk to our fairies real quick like. Let's see here. Let's talk to our fairies. Thank you, fairies. I'm going to do a quick shuffle. Thank you, fairies. What is it that you have for us today? What is it that we need to know today? Woo! Okie dokie. Let me take these down. Everything that you're asking for becomes yours in the summertime. I really probably should have left the cards up. Everything that you're asking for becomes yours in the summertime. That is now. That to me speaks to everything. That as you surrender right now, as you surrender to who you are, and you allow yourself to be, and you operate, even though it's vulnerable, but you operate out of trust, you start to find that everything is ready for you now. Now I see why we've been getting the buffalo. And now I see why the buffalo has been telling us to be grateful, to be thankful. Fairies, do you have anything? That's it. Okay. Got you. Oh, good morning to our spirit animals. Who is it that we are working with today? Hello. That one. Okay. Gotcha. Dropped out of the deck. Okay, let's just put these two together. Mr. Raccoon Family says, you have everything you need. Oh, you guys, oh man. I'm debating, do I go there? Because I don't, we're sitting, at about 20 minutes or so, 22 minutes. You have everything you need. Everything you already need is within you. Okay, let me do this. My big head's in the way. Everything you need is already within you. When you can remember that, stay focused on that, it makes it a lot easier to just be effortless, to remain effortless, to not force the way that things have to happen. So I wasn't going to go there, but I'm going to just, good morning, Carly. I'm going to share this. Like, one of the big revelations that I got yesterday is that I really have been spending too much time focusing on the how I'm going to get there, how I'm going to make this happen, how I'm going to create. When I was reminded the whole reason why I got on this path was so that I could just be. I don't have to worry about forcing things to happen. When I just am, when I remembered the basics, my why. Like, this was the whole reason why I got into this. I remembered I already had everything I need. So now I can allow it to just flow. Yes, there are some physical steps we need to take, right? I can't expect to get healthy without eating healthy and exercising, right? I can't expect to to raise beautiful children if I don't get up and, actually interact with them and bathe them and feed them and clothe them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't expect to build a business if I don't put any effort into my business, right? So yeah, there are some things that I need to take, some steps, some physical things we need to do in life, but we don't have to force it. We can allow ourselves to just be and remember that we have everything that we need. And really, the thing about allowing ourselves to just be is we have to be vulnerable. But the difference between the past and the difference between now is now we're not vulnerable out of fear. Now we're vulnerable out of trust, trusting and knowing that we're moving in the right direction, that we're being divinely guided and led. Trusting and knowing that when we reach the bottom of this waterfall into the pool, that it's calm and that it's still. And that it does what it needs to do before moving on, continuing on through its journey, right? Trusting and believing and remembering that we have everything that we need. And when we do that, we open ourselves up to these new beginnings. And really, I can't even say that they're new beginnings. We open ourselves up to a new day, to a new dawn, to something that is already within us. But now we're able to bring it out within this physical world. So one of the big things that I would say that is real important about right now and about where we're being guided and directed is to really get into our shadow, into ourself, into the crevices of our minds, our thoughts, our feelings, with a bright ass flashlight, with a spotlight. Where, and these are the things that literally I had to sit down and ask myself, where am I restricting myself? What do I know I'm capable of doing? I actually made a list. I don't know if I have that in here, that list in here. I made a list, like on one side, what I need to do, and the second list was what I've been holding myself, where I've been holding myself back and why. And at the end of the day, guys, what I recognized was I was holding myself back out of lack. Like, okay, I'm gonna feel like I've accomplished something in life when I hit this point in life, when I hit this stage. When in reality, I need to be taking time to appreciate where I'm at now. Because what we put out is what we attract back, right? So if I'm feeling like I'm not accomplishing anything until I hit that stage, then guess what I'm putting out? A bunch of feelings of non-accomplishment. And what am I attracting right back to me? Wondering why I'm still being stuck in this area. I'm like, I feel myself growing over here and I'm trying to let go over there, but why am I stuck right here in this aspect? I had to ask myself, where am I holding myself back? Where am I not allowing myself to be vulnerable? Because I know I already have everything that I need. I know that I'm being divinely guided and led at all times. Because I was too busy trying to control this. I wasn't allowing myself to be. I was trying to tell the river where it needed to go instead of allowing the river to flow. Does that make sense? Carly says, yes. So I had to really ask myself, I had to remind myself, what is my why? This is the whole reason why I'm doing this. Somehow I got caught up in the how and the results of the how. And what it made me realize was, for me, I can't speak for you, but for me, getting caught up in the how was really getting caught up in the ego aspect of things, because I wanted to control it rather than let it flow effortlessly. Because my ego said, look what I can do. Look what I can create. And specifically, let me find that real quick in our waterfall message, specifically told us that being effortless and creating is not about controlling. Let me find that directly. Let's see. Yes, at times physical exertion is necessary, but when performed with fluidity and grace, even when the task seems daunting, you'll find that the movement moves you effortlessly. Approach the present situation or relationship with awareness and grace. Do not make it effortless. That just creates more strain. The key word here is to allow. This is not a time to fight, but to surrender to the will of spirit. Even if you're being asked to let go completely and tumble into the brink of creation itself. And that's where I find myself, literally, at a point of being asked to let go completely, to surrender, to tumble, to be that waterfall into the brink of what? Creation. Allowing it to flow, right? Because at the end of the day, so then becomes the battle of allowing and, creating. Where's the balance between that? And really, the beautiful part about creation, using that esoteric power, is using that natural power that flows within us. That is us, right? And not what I was reminded was to allow it to flow naturally, not to be like, you're going here and you're going there, but to allow to get back to my why and not control the how. Does that make sense? Give me a thumbs up if that makes sense. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to skew the interpretation or the understanding. Okay? But really, at the end of the day, when we remember that we have everything that we need, we have everything that we need. And I just love that. The squirrel, they've got the family, they've got like food, they've got shelter, they've got beauty around them, they've got gorgeous nature, they've got each other. When we can surrender to that, when we can allow ourselves to be that waterfall that just tumbles effortlessly into creation. So, what do I mean by that? Diana, focused intention, right? Focused. Keep your unwavering thoughts, feelings, and actions focused on your mark, and you will, on your target, and you will reach your mark. So, keeping our unwavering thoughts, feelings, and actions is one thing. Trying to control every aspect of it is something else. Does that make sense? And that's where I find myself in the confession session for that I posted this morning, was I forgot, I let go of. You know, I was focusing, I called myself focusing my unwavering thoughts, feelings, and actions, but really what I was doing was focusing on the how, trying to force rather than allow. If I just focus on that, what I'm trying to create, the actual intention itself, and I allow the waterfall to flow, it will by default create, because it flows into creation. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Versus when we try and control it, and here's the thing about trying to control the how. And I've said this so many times, and it was one of those like, duh, Sharita, why don't you listen to yourself? When we get so focused in on here, we dismiss all the potential and all the opportunity around here and above here and over there. Because it has to happen like this. It doesn't have to happen like this. It can happen however it happens. What if I'm trying to work my tooth and nail and fight for it? But the universe is like, if you would just turn your head to the left a little bit, somebody's trying to give it to you for free. At the end of the day, do I care if I had to fight for it, if I had to get it for free? The fact is I got it, right? Okay. So, yeah, that's what I got for that, guys. Thank you so much to our, I'm going to get me out of this because these cards are just so beautiful. I want y'all to see that for yourself. So gorgeous. Thank you so much to our Earth Magic deck. They're just so loving and warm and supportive and all that good jazz. Good morning, Javon. They really just leave us in a place of understanding. So Javon, now that you're here, if you have a few minutes, give me a thumbs up real quick, because you commented something yesterday that I want to address. Okay, Javon says she's got some time. Let me come back here, and I want to get to yesterday's reading because you left a comment, and I think now is just a really good time to address that. And let's see here if I can get those to pull up on my phone. Okay, I cannot, so sit tight. I'm going to pull that up on my computer really fast. I'm going to read that in particular. Give me just a hot second. Because it was a really great question. And I think it's something that many people can relate to. Was it yesterday's reading, Javon? Okay, here it is. So I'm going to zoom in. And I'm going to try and do a quick screen share here. Let's see. There we go. So that works. Hopefully y'all can see what I'm seeing. Let me get back to my other screen. And Javon, I think it was just a really awesome question. So I want to, I think now is a great time to answer that. Let me zoom in just a little bit more. All right, so hopefully
All right, so Javon, you said question. So something like so something that keeps coming up for me is a building of energy and power for about 2 weeks at a time. Then by the end of the second week, I'm almost too full of energy. I try to use it, but it gets to be too much. Does anyone else know what I mean? Then it's like I want to binge eat or drink a bunch to make the energy controllable. If I meditate, it gets more intense. If I write or create art, it gets more intense. How did you learn to use the energy and not get overwhelmed or balance it out? So, I think that is an excellent question.
Okay, guys, can you hear me now? Okay, sorry about that. Apparently, I did an update on my software and like I must not have reset the settings on that scene correctly. So I apologize. But hopefully you can hear me now. So, what I've learned in particular, just to kind of recap, is that for me in particular, first of all, let me say, I know exactly what you're feeling. I totally understand. I get it. Makes perfect sense. I have been there. And so, what I learned for me in particular is that those are two very different things. Um, that I might feel very charged up in my spiritual realm. And then, like you said, you start to feel kind of overwhelmed with some of that information and then, or that energy. And then, it tumbles out in other ways, like maybe drinking or binge eating or what have you. And so, what I found honestly was that it was a little opposite of what I initially thought. So, in particular, when I'm drinking gives me a very certain kind of buzz, a kind of wee, like a, it's kind of, it makes that free flowing, like, oh, let's go left. Okay, sure, why not? Like, ah. I don't know. I don't really know. I know I'm saying a lot of sounds, and hopefully there's some words in there that help it to make sense. But at any rate, what I noticed was that it took me a while to notice it. Drinking was very similar to the other buzz. And I was chasing the other buzz through my drinking or through my binge eating. But it wasn't quite. It was like it was the same, but it was opposite. Like I felt a lot the same, but the vibration was down here versus when I'm in my spiritual realm, it's up here. So that was the first part. The second part is that I guess that's really kind of the main part. It what I realized was it wasn't an excess of. It was a chasing of that high. So what I would suggest to you is that you really observe your thoughts. Not about judgment, it's not about good or bad, just about thoughts. I know when there are certain thoughts and words that run through my mind, even though I'm in a great mood and I'm feeling very connected and blah, 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 that my vibration is low. And when I am actually very connected and my vibration is high, those things don't even enter my mind. And a lot of those things evolve around food, drinking, other stimuli, sex, what have you. So I would say that the other thing that I would say is the biggest word that comes to mind immediately is balance. Um, and bear with me because I wanna pick and choose my words carefully. Balance in the sense that energy moves in all directions. So if you're feeling like you're constantly moving in this direction and it gets overwhelming, you need to ground yourself. And grounding is and it needs to be a very intentional act for you. Example, going into nature, being in the woods, being on a hike, being at the beach even. Those are things that amplify me. So I have to be very intentional in my grounding. Some people can stick their hands and feet in the ground and they're like, "Oh, okay." For me, it's a very intentional act. I have to really go into my sacred space and see myself, not myself, but see my roots anchoring at the core of the earth, right? It has to be very intentional for me. And in doing so, the reason I use the word intentional is because I have to allow that energy to flow in all directions. So if it is a overwhelming energy that is leading you towards thoughts of drinking, binge eating, doing things that are opposite of your highest good, I would reevaluate what that energy is and where it's coming from. It might feel really good. It might feel very similar to that connection, but it might not be it. If it is it, and even if it isn't it, I would absolutely make sure that you are grounding. Every once in a while, y'all, you'll see me and I'll shuffle cards and they'll poof, and I'm like, okay, let me put these down. And you'll see me. I'll say something like, I gotta ground, guys. There's more often than not, I actually have stones strategically placed, but I'll keep this red jasper in my lap while I'm doing readings. Like, I have to do very deliberate and intentional things to remain connected because I tend to leave Earth. Whenever y'all hear me say my head's getting whirly, that means I'm struggling to stay here on Earth and to be present in the moment because I'm ready to fly, right? So I would say, but having said that, that energy does not make me want to binge in ways that are opposite of where I need to be or that are opposite to my highest good. So I hope that makes sense. So overall, again, reevaluate what exactly that energy is, because here is the freaking thing. We feel good when we do certain external things. Whether it is drinking, whether it's smoking weed, whether it's smoking a cigarette, whether it's hanging out with certain people, we can feel a certain way, and that feeling can be very similar to, that true essence feeling. But it's always just a little bit off. So that's why I say if it's something that expresses itself in a binge that doesn't align with your highest good, maybe explore where that energy is coming from, what it really is. And if it keeps coming out in a binge, then, okay, let me stop and understand, where is this coming from? How do I balance this out? I'm not saying any of those things are bad. I'm just saying, however it aligns with your highest good. Javon says, oh, interesting. Okay, I think I get it. I need to spend time asking the energy what it is before just acting. Absolutely. And really not judging it. And that's kind of the big thing, is it good or is it bad? I mean, it just is. It's just, okay, so it doesn't align with my highest good. I'm going to let it flow and not attach hold to it. When I attach claim to it, then I make it mine. The other thing to that is, what was I going to say? In allowing it to flow. When we understand where it comes from, it might be coming out of a need for something. A lot of mine came out of a need for acceptance, because For example, when I'm partying with people, if I say, guys, let's go to the park and meditate, how many people are gonna sign up? Versus if I'm like, dude, it's Friday, let's go hit happy hour, right? And I want to be accepted. You know, it's not to say I didn't enjoy hanging out with those people or doing those things, but when it came down to the root of it, a lot of it was about this is socially acceptable behavior on Friday afternoons. It's Friday, this is what we do. And then it becomes programmed. It becomes a programming. Does that make sense? And when we're programmed to believe that Friday is kick it time, it's turn up time, it's chill mode, Saturday is, you know what I'm saying? Whereas Monday is, a lot of that shit's programmed. We've programmed ourselves into believing and feeling certain things. So I had to just evaluate that energy. What is that? What are the words? What are the thoughts that run through my mind? What are the things that I want to do when those feelings come up? Oh, yeah, I feel nice and light and carefree and buzzy when I'm drunk like I do when I'm meditating, but it's just not, it's off. And it's off just enough. I mean, they're the same, but they're at opposite ends of the spectrum, if that makes sense. And it's off just enough that it fucks everything else up. Javon says, right? So true. Changing vibration can be incredibly lonely. It can be incredibly lonely until you get into that sacred space. Nematona reminding us to go to our power place, to go to our sacred space. And then we start to realize once that vibration changes, what we're emanating from our heart, we're now attracting new people. And not just new people, but even some of our old people, now we're there, we give them permission to think and to feel differently. And we attract that aspect of them as well. There's some people we only really know through, we party with those people. But there's more to them than that. And they only know the party side of us. I have a friend in particular where we're going through, it's a really a weird evolution of our friendship where we kind of took some time apart. But we've always partied together. We know each other extremely well, but we've always partied together. And now it's different and unique in an aspect that we're exploring, an aspect of our friendship that doesn't involve booze. And it's kind of like, it's funny, she literally asked me yesterday, she was like, well, what does kicking it to you mean these days now? I was like, I know, right? I'm like, well, for me, today, I'm just going to the beach. No booze, no BS. Reconnect, nature, sun, waves, water, wind, whatever. So, you know, it can be if we allow ourselves to be lonely, but it isn't. It isn't. And the more fully integrated we become with ourselves, the less lonely we are as well. And that's one of those other things. Again, we last Monday, we got overcoming negativity through feminine power. And so when those feelings of loneliness come up, it's not for us to sit here and be like, oh, I'm changing, I'm by myself now, I guess I have to go find a new crowd. This is an opportunity for us to go, whoa, wait a minute. Where are these feelings of loneliness coming from? All right, let me go tackle this. Where are these feelings of X, Y, and Z coming from? Let me tackle this. Whether they're internal or external. Because again, remember, the external is just a reflection of what's going on in here. So if people are coming at us crazy, then maybe we need to reevaluate what kind of crazy is going on in here. What am I putting out that I'm attracting all this crazy? What am I putting out that's making me feel lonely? A lot of times we create those conditions. Now that I'm changing my vibration, I'm going to be on my own. And then we go and isolate ourselves, right? So I have a couple of new decks of cards where they actually they have reverse readings. So the card lands upside down. And I always swore I would never do reverse readings because ultimately, I bring this up because ultimately I find that people tend to be self-fulfilling prophecies. So oftentimes, not oftentimes, but I've seen quite a bit in tarot where someone will get a reverse reading and it'll come off as a negative aspect. And then they'll go look for and create that negative aspect when in reality it was just a warning, it was an alert. Hey, if you stay on this path, this is what's going to happen. So now that this has come up, this quote unquote negative or bad thing, now is the time to address it. So now that you recognize this within yourself, it's not a bad thing. Be thankful for it, because now you can address it. Now you're aware enough to address it. Think about how many people live this life and binge and go through all this, that, and the other, and then all of a sudden become alcoholics or become drug addicts, all because they're trying to suppress something they never really recognized within them. Or they're chasing something that they never really realized that was within them. You're in a very fortunate position to be extremely self-aware. And the fact of the matter is that sometimes we have oopsies and we have slip-ups. Guilty. Whether it be with food, whether it be with booze, whether it be with boys, whether it be with whatever, or girls if you're a guy watching this. You know, whether it be with certain people. I said I wasn't going to hang out with them anymore. Ugh. But rather than to beat ourselves up about it and wind back up in the same position, you know what? I thought I was over it. Guess I wasn't. So here's an awesome opportunity for me to go back and reevaluate. I'm not going to keep beating myself up over this. Yeah, I messed up. I accept it. These are the consequences. I have to learn to live with it. But moving forward, now I can start to really do the work. Right? It's one thing to be self-aware. It's something else to be self-aware and to actually do the work. I was talking to my husband earlier and I was like, I go, you know, it's kind of wild when you think about like even martial artists, you know, or martial arts where you get your black belt, but then you get your second degree, your third degree, or your fourth degree. Or when you think about monks, even the oldest monks that, you know, live in the mountainside in the monastery and they haven't spoken for 20 years, you know, even every day, they're reaching and striving for higher and new levels of enlightenment. They're reaching that new dawn, that new beginning that we got in today's reading. So one last thing, Javon, I don't know if you were able to catch our entire reading. If not, you know, feel free to go back and check it out. But one of the things in particular is that that I had to remind myself is that when we're on this journey, whoops, the daisies knocked everything down. Let me just bring, this is the main one I want to focus on. When we're on this journey, that sometimes we try and mental our way through this. Okay, I'm going to do this at 2 o'clock. I'm going to do this at 5 o'clock, you know, or we just, I got to think like this. I have to be like this. Okay, I recognize this. Let this go. Understand that this journey, that again, we just need to be. We just need to be the water. If the water wants to sit, you know, in a lake or a river, let it sit in a lake or a river. But eventually it's going to flow, and we need to allow it to flow effortlessly down this waterfall, into creativity. We need to just allow ourselves to be. Every once in a while we hit a plateau, we hit a rock, we stumble, but through that persistence, the water carves out its own way. But it first just has to be. It has to allow. I hope that makes sense. Okay, Javon says, yeah, I'm going back to it and returning to gratitude. Absolutely. So I think, I hope that really helps to answer your question. And again, my main thing was just allowing yourself to be, and just evaluating without judgment. You know, we talked about that book the other day, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. You know what I'm trying to say. The Power of Now, and how he talks about, you know, observing the chatter, but not judging it. Like observing the chatter that goes on in the back of our minds, but not judging it, recognizing it for what it is. And then once you recognize it, we can make that decision. Do I continue to, is this working for me? Do I like this? Am I getting, because I'm manifesting at all times, but am I manifesting what I want to be manifesting? Okay, yes, all right, keep moving. Oh, no, okay, I need to change. So therefore we change. Easy peasy, 1, 2, 3, easy. But again, remembering to just allow ourselves to be. So Sorry about that. I'm so sorry about that. I will definitely have that fixed for tomorrow. But at any rate, I was saying I really hope that it is my goal to get back to the beach one more time, at least one more time this week, and a couple of times a week over the next upcoming weeks before I leave town. Because that is a part of my why, you know. So it's my hope and desire that you get back to your why this week, and that we allow our how to be effortless, to allow spirit to move us and guide us in the direction that we need to be, because that is how we create. We bring about, not through force, but through allowing, using our esoteric, was it our esoteric, oh God, Sharita. Have an amazing day. Happy Tuesday. This week is going to get great. Well, it's already a great week, but it's just going to get greater from here. So I love you lots. Have a beautiful day. I will see you tomorrow. And I think we're going to try and get a group exclusive in. If not tonight, definitely tomorrow. I don't even know what subject yet. I'm going to allow God to pick that one. And we will do a group exclusive in the private group, and we will do what is it called? A guided meditation at the end. So I will have the sign up information for that in the next couple of days. Next day, later today, maybe tomorrow. We'll see. Have a great one. Talk to you soon. Bye.